Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 147 of the Debt Free Dad podcast. Today, I am so excited to welcome Gina Christie to the podcast. Now, Gina joined Roots in early January of 2022. So at the time of this recording, we're talking about 9 months. All right. And in 9 months, she has saved and paid off over $20,421.10. Now, today, Gina was kind enough to join me on the podcast to share her journey, talk about what changes she's made, and just how massive an improvement that she's been able to make with her financial life over the last 9 months. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Debt Free Dad podcast, where we're helping normal, everyday people learn how to save money and kick debt so they can live a happier and stress-free life. Now here's your host, Debt Free Dad, Brad Nelson.
Hey, how is everyone doing today? You can find me on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Just search Brad Nelson, Debt Free Dad. And as always, welcome to today's show. So glad to have you guys here with us today. We've got a great show for you here as Gina being our guest. And remember to get all the resources, show notes, links, and also all of our other podcast episodes from our website. You can head over to balancencents.com/147. Again, that's BALANCEDCENTS.com/147. So as I mentioned in the intro, Gina is joining us. Now, Gina is single and 48 years old. She is the oldest of 6 kids and grew up on a farm in southeast Minnesota near Rochester, so not terribly far from me in South Milwaukee. Gina currently lives in Rochester, Minnesota with her 2 cats, Bella and Bernie. She is an accountant by degree and an accounting analyst at a local manufacturing company. She says, I love spoiling and spending time with my best friend's kids, Destiny, Jalen, and Bryson, who are like my nieces and nephew. They spend a couple of days a week at my house for auntie time, which is so cool. In her spare time, she also loves to spend time with her family, her friends. She loves to read, watch TV and movies, listen to music, and also researching genealogy. Gina, so excited to have you on the show. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so excited to talk to you. And it's just been so much fun to be able to see all the amazing wins that you've gotten over the last 9 months. And when I invited you on and you said you would come on, I was so happy because I think a lot of people tend to doubt like the progress that you can make in such a short period of time. Like if you've got a proven recipe and a process that you can follow, it's been amazing to see what people have been able to do. And you are one of those people. And I'm just so excited that you're going to be able to share what you've been able to accomplish. But as we kind of get started here today, I'm curious, before you even became an adult and before you started really doing adulting with money, how did you learn about personal finance and money? Were you taught anything as a kid that you were able to use as an adult, or what was your experience with your education with finances as a kid growing up?
Well, I grew up, like I said in the bio, it said I grew up on a farm. My parents, farming is not an easy industry. So a lot of times it was, we don't have money for that right now, or, you each get only so much.
Right.
Christmas presents or whatever it was, they spent $20 per kid. So we always knew what they had available was budgeted for what they could spend. I did understand as I got older that they used like credit notes with the bank to supplement the farm income as, the ups and hills and valleys of farming.
Yeah.
So other than watching that, understanding that, it wasn't specifically called out.
Yeah.
Do this, you should do that.
Yeah, I can relate to some degree. My mom actually grew up on a farm as well, and she used to talk about a lot of the type of stuff you're talking about, financially speaking, right? A lot of my family have been farmers here in Wisconsin, and it is a tough gig. There is no question about it. So that does not surprise me based on your experience. So as you got to be an adult then, so I mean, I think it probably goes without saying that your education as a child about money was probably what most people's education is. At least that's kind of similar to what I got. My parents somewhat talked about the importance of saving and, budgeting and not spending more than you make, and obviously trying to stay away from debt. But it was mostly just general conversation. It wasn't anything super specific, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people can relate to that. I think a lot of us probably have that same type of education. So as you became an adult, like, talk about how that went with money. I mean, did you experience challenges right away? Did it take some time to get into debt, or like what kinds of maybe ups and downs you had with personal finance as you became an adult and started to say like, wow, this is what being an adult is all about?
Well, it wasn't too bad at first. I know I got my first credit card when I was in college.
Okay.
And I know we've talked about it before, but the little tables handed out, sign up for this card.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember being overly, just going hog wild or anything like that. And I worked all the way through college. So, I knew I had, to take care of my bills and all that stuff. As, my parents did. And then I actually didn't do too bad until I was out of college and more on my own, and, getting into a job and making extra money from what I was making as part-time through college. And I think that's when, I started getting more stuff. And my second big job after college, I decided I was doing really great, and I was actually living with my sisters at the time. We shared an apartment here in Rochester, and I decided, I have to have a house because I'm wasting my money on rent. So when I got this other job, I moved further west of Rochester and decided, I had to buy a house. Well, that was, I think, the start of the downhill spiral on my finances, because things went wrong with the house. Windows needed to get fixed. It just kept adding on and snowballing. There was, I have so many stories after that point.
Well, I think I'm glad you bring that up though, because I think there's a lot of people who get that wake up call about a home, and I think a home is a great thing. I think it can be a great thing for your financial plan. I think it's obviously long term. I think it's way better to own long term than it is obviously to rent.
Yeah.
But as you point out, there's definitely a lot of financial responsibility that comes from owning a home, and it's not just affording the mortgage and the insurance and the interest, right? It's all of the other stuff that comes up with it. And I think, I'm glad you brought up that point, because there's a lot of people who that takes them by surprise. And I do see that. It's not necessarily the house itself, the payment of the house, that makes people financially stressed out. It's all the responsibilities that come with it. It's like you said, the windows and the things that need to get fixed. And it is a lot. And, and if you're not prepared, it can definitely cause a lot of stress.
Yeah, definitely. There was another not so brilliant moment where I went into business with a friend, and it did not work. It threw me for a loop. I ended up having to file bankruptcy at that time. And that was a whole nother ball game.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got back on my feet, and things were going pretty good. And then 2018 hit, and I lost my job. And at the time I had a different house now. And I got behind on everything, and it just snowballed from there to the point where when I started roots. So
Yeah.
it one thing after another, and it was hard to catch up. I was using personal loans to supplement what I needed. Tried working 2 jobs. When I lost my job, I couldn't find another full-time accounting job that was paying the same. Luckily, my brother-in-law helped me out, gave me a full-time job, but it wasn't near the amount of money I was making.
Right.
So it took a big toll on my stress level and just feeling confident in what I was doing.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, just going through the ups and downs of what you talked about. I mean, getting a house, having that cause stress, opening up a business, and then having that fall apart, having to go through bankruptcy, then losing a job. I mean, at what point are you just like, I give up, right? I can't figure this stuff out. I know the feeling. Like we all have like different stories and different journeys, but we all come to that conclusion of, I just feel hopeless with my finances, right? It seems like no matter what I do, it's like I can't ever get ahead, right?
Yeah.
But now you have a comeback story, right? Because you mentioned like you decided to join Roots. Now, you joined in January of 2022, but like what was the decision there? Like what caused you to say, you know what, maybe I need to do this to help me improve this situation? Like what was the thought process there before you joined, you think?
Well, the main instigator was late November, I got a garnishment on my salary,
Okay.
which took about a little over $400 every check,
Right.
which basically was my car payment.
Right.
So, and then at the time I'm like, I was thinking, I got to do something. How am I going to get through this? And luckily in December we had a bonus that we got, and I think we had extra paycheck that month. But then I found your planner on Facebook, and I ordered it thinking, okay, well, this is something different. It looks easy to follow. I'll try budgeting and, make this work. Well, then once I got it, I saw the roots part, and I'm like, screw this. I started looking at what to do. I'm like, I need focus. I need direction. I'm trying to do it on my own. It worked at times throughout the past, but it never stuck.
Yeah.
So I needed that extra push, guidance to make it actually work.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we all go through that journey of, you get to a point in your life where you're like, I can't, I need help, right? I just need someone to, and we all get to that point at different times. Some of us don't get there at all. And unfortunately they never reach out ask for help, but a lot of us just finally get to the point. For me, it was losing my house, right? When I was getting out of debt, I lost my house, and that was my breaking point. And I think we all get to that point where it's just like, enough is enough. I need to do some stuff different. So looking back, like when you first started, because again, you've even mentioned, you were doing some things right. You were having a little bit of success here with your finances, getting back on your feet after, some tough knockdowns. And so you kind of had an idea of some things to do. So when you started though, looking back, especially those first few weeks and those first few months, like what do you feel that Roots gave you that you didn't necessarily have before that really started to help you really get on a good path to help you improve your situation?
It was really the behavior changes. The one main first thing, eye-opening thing was, as you mentioned before, going through 3 to 6 months of your statements, your bank, credit cards, whatnot. Oh, sorry, my light went off.
That's okay. We can still see you. You're good.
Okay, good. It was eye-opening to see how much money I was spending on eating out and just random grocery store trips and getting quick meals, not necessarily maybe from a restaurant, but just quick things at the grocery store instead of actually ingredients to make something. So it was, I want to say there was one month that was like $500. And normally it's just me
Yeah.
and, the kids when they come over. So it's not, really, I shouldn't need to spend $500 a month on
Yeah.
food.
Right.
So it was very eye opening, and making that behavior change to be more focused on what I am spending every month, and not just randomly going. And, I track every week what receipts I have to make sure I'm not getting too out of control with that, since I know that's a big problem for me.
Yeah. So you mentioned two really big things. If you're listening to this right now, Gina mentioned going back, and we've talked about this several times in this podcast. If you've been listening for a while, going back and looking at the last 3 to 6 months of your bank statements and your credit card statements or whatever you're spending money. And I'm with Gina. When I did it, I saw the same things. A lot of overspending. It was pretty eye-opening. And for most people who do it, in fact, I can't even think of somebody who's done it and didn't come back to me and say I was shocked, because everyone's like, I can't believe what I'm seeing, right? I just wasn't paying attention, right? So that is huge. And then number two, will make a big difference, especially as you get started, is really tracking. So I love, Gina, that you brought those up and gave those and shared those kind of little tips for everyone listening to this, because those are, a lot of people overlook it. It's not always the big things. Like we talk about budgeting. That's a big thing. Budgeting is great, but it's like the tracking. If you can just track and look at where you're spending and what your money's going to, like just doing that even can make a huge difference over time, just by tracking and seeing what's going on with your finances. So those are huge. So now I want you to share, because these are such great numbers. What have you been able to save, and what have you been able to pay off since joining? Now, I know I let the cat out of the bag when I introduced you, but can you share those numbers? Because these are yours, and man, we just got to celebrate this.
Yeah, I've saved and paid off over $20,400 in the last 9 months.
Yeah. That is so incredible. What do you, what comes, like, can you believe that? Can you believe that looking at those numbers?
Yeah. It blows my mind that, especially the first two things that I paid off. One was the garnishment, which I made it through that without adding debt.
Yeah.
Which
so incredible.
In the past, that would not have happened. I would have had a personal loan or something like that I would have ended up paying on as well. And that's like one of the biggest things that just has blown my mind, that I was able to get through that without increasing my debt. And just being able to get actually caught up on my bills and move forward, and just keep adding to that debt number little by little. And it did take me a good 7-8 months to really start to see movement in my number. It was very slow in the beginning, but it got there.
Yeah. And that is just so empowering. Here you are, you're single, you're on your own, you're doing this with one income. You got through garnishment, you got your bills caught up, and you stuck with it. And I think that's been one of the coolest parts of watching your journey, is that what a lot of people fail at is just the consistency and discipline in actually doing the stuff that they know they should be doing. And you've been doing that, and that's the magic behind it. And here you are 9 months, and now you're starting to see that momentum swing in your direction. It's just, I'm blown away by the numbers. I'm just so excited for you. And man, it's just a testament to all the work that you've been putting in over the last 9 months. And it's just so cool to see. Can you share a couple of other maybe big contributions that have helped you with this? I know you mentioned, tracking and really looking at your expenses, but I know probably people are thinking like, I'm single, or like I'm feeling the stress that, that you were feeling when you first started. Like, what were some other things that maybe was it sacrifices? Was there maybe budgeting tips, or was there anything that really made a really big difference for you over these last 9 months that you felt really pushed you to where you are today?
Yeah. I really limited the amount of extra spending I did. Not that, like I don't normally go buy a ton of clothes anyway, but I really made that a point where I really focusing on really do I need another shirt or is it just something I want?
Right.
So looking at what the person wants, and letting things go a little longer than I would. You know, they wear them a little longer. They're still good. They don't have holes, you know, that kind of thing. Just really watching my impulse spending, being open to return things when it does happen.
Love that. I love that. Oh, I love that you're doing that. That's so cool. Like, even if you make the mistake, you're giving it some extra time. Like, do I really need, that's such a good one. Love that.
I've done that a couple times now where I got it and I'm like, why did I buy this?
Yeah, right.
So, and then the last big thing I did recently was I made the decision to downgrade my vehicle.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah.
I had some equity built up in the vehicle I had that was a 2018. And I traded it in towards a 2012 car. And the other one was an SUV. So I had quite a bit of equity that went towards the new vehicle. And so I was able to, in that process, able to shorten my loan and reduce my payment every month. So it's saved me about $8,000 roughly in my overall loan and about a year and a half off the length of the loan.
Yeah, that's incredible. Incredible. So you've reduced your debt by $8,000 by, you know, changing up your vehicle situation. And I thought it was an excellent move. I think it's awesome. I think too many people get themselves stuck in really overpriced cars. And
Yep.
I used to too, so I could totally relate. Like, I was a big car nut, not even a car nut to the nice part of cars, but I just always had a new car, and man, they cost me big time. It caused a lot of stress. And once you kind of broke away from that mindset, it's amazing how much of a difference it makes. And
Yeah.
I thought it was an excellent move for you to make, and to be able to knock out $8,000 plus lessen the length of the loan that you're in.
Right.
Man, it's huge. So, I mean, have you felt really good about that decision so far?
Yeah, I have. I've really, I've adjusted my October budget to move some of that difference in payment to make my debt snowball work for me a little faster than what it's been going.
Yeah.
So excited to see, because I have a number of credit cards that are under $1,000, and I really think that those will go much faster now that I've got some wiggle room on with my car payment being different.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, improving your cash flow every month, and now being able to send more cash to the other debts.
Yeah.
Again, we mentioned the word momentum, and this is how it's built. Like she said, you know, it was a slow process for her as she was getting started, but now you're making changes, you're making moves, you're improving your cash flow, and slowly but surely that momentum really gets heated up pretty quick. It's so exciting for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So can you share a little bit about, you know, finances are doing great. You saved and paid off, you know, over $20,000 in the last 9 months. Those are awesome things. Can you share a little bit about how this has made an impact on the rest of your life? Like, from a stress standpoint, anxiety standpoint, any differences there from when you were starting versus where you're at today?
Oh, definitely a big difference. My stress level is gone way down. I don't get so anxious anymore when paycheck rolls around, because I know where my money's going to go and what it's going to pay. And I know I can, if I need to get something else, I can rearrange my budget to include that in and not feel like I have to use a credit card to do it.
Love that.
And I don't have that anxious feeling about who's calling me on the phone. Is it bill collectors? Is it now majority of the time the calls I do get are just spam. Besides my, the people I know, but I don't have these voicemails that are, we need to hear back from you or threatening me. And so I don't have that anxious feeling about those. I don't stress as much. I sleep way better.
Oh man, this is like the best part for me. This is it right here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where the payoff comes from. The dollars, the numbers are always fun to look at, and the financial side is always the fun. But it's what having control over that money and having a plan that you can depend on. It's what it gives back to you. And to hear you say that you don't have to depend on credit cards anymore in just 9 months, how big of a change that is.
Right.
This is so awesome. I'm just so excited for you to be at this point and to get to a point where you don't have to deal with those calls. And again, for anyone listening to this, Gina's a real person. She's just, she's just doing things differently with money. Everyone has the opportunity to do this. It takes time, takes effort, takes hard work, but it's so possible. And this is what I get so passionate about what we do here, because everyone should be able to deserve to live that way, and not have to live with financial stress. So I'm just so excited for you. So what, did any friends or family, have you shared your journey experience with other people? Have there been any sorts of reactions to what you're doing, or how has that been, do you think?
Well, I haven't shared a whole lot. My, one of my sisters I talked to that we are really close, I told her, and her husband had done Dave Ramsey's program.
Okay. Yep.
So she understood the concept, and she's like, well, I really hope it works for you, because she knew about my struggles and stuff.
Yeah.
And then when I did the swap on my car, this last weekend, actually, I told my parents what I did, and my dad's like, why? Why? I explained it to him. He didn't really say anything after that, but that was his first thing out of his mouth when I told him was, why? So, but nothing really negative.
Well, that's good.
But just
that's
more of a, okay, you do what you want. I think once I get to further down the road, when I've got stuff paid off more and I have more money freed up, and I can start doing more fun things that I've been putting on hold, like vacations and stuff, that I decided I'm just not gonna go and spend money there until I get more wiggle room and I can save more easily for that. Once I can start doing some of that stuff, I think then it'll really start, you're able to do that and not, put it on a credit card. What?
You are absolutely correct. You are so correct. Yes, it is. You're on the right track when people are giving you the weird responses and weird looks, right? You're like, I must be doing something right, right? And then it's always the people that, you're surprised by years later, who come knocking on your door like, hey, I know you did this and got out of debt. Can you help me? Right? In fact, my own brother who's on this podcast is that same story. But yeah, you are absolutely right. So yeah, don't be afraid if people are giving you weird looks and responses to getting out of debt. It means you're on the right track. So I love that.
Yeah.
So share with me just end goal. Like, we talk a lot about wire, purpose, and roots. We talk about, setting some good goals, some goals you believe in, setting some, financial dreams. Like, what are your kind of big things that you're hoping to reach by doing some of this? Like, if you could say, like, in X amount of time, what does that reality look like for you in the future by doing this work?
I would like to, I would actually like to get to the point where I am debt free. I haven't quite decided yet if in the future there will be another house in my future. I don't know yet.
Right.
I'm at the age where, another 20 years, I might be retired and I won't want to be tied down to anything. So, but I'd love to travel, and just having the freedom to do that would be awesome. And just, right now my job, I currently love my job, and it'd be nice to not have to feel like, if I don't have to move to a different job, to keep going and get more money. It would be nice to just do what I love and, be able to travel and have the freedom to do it and not worry about, and, increase my retirement as well, because that's taken hits over the years as well as I've had my stroke. Just kind of where I'm thinking right now anyway.
Yeah. I love that though. I love that. Obviously travel's a big one. I hear a lot of people traveling is a big one. It's a big one for me too. But I also love the fact that you said that you love to just get to the point where you're able to live comfortably on the salary that you make because you're doing the job that you love to do. I mean, how amazing is that? And so often we get trapped into just the salary and making more money, and we kind of give up on the enjoyment factor because we got all these bills to pay. But when you get out of debt, man, you open yourselves up to a lot more opportunities. And, man, you just keep going the way that you're going. You're absolutely going to be able to experience that. I'm so excited for you. Last question for you before we let you go. And, again, I just want to thank you for being so kind with your time and being able to share what you've been able to accomplish. And from where you started, it's just been such an awesome journey for you. But going back to maybe, the Gina before they joined Roots, what suggestion would you give to them, knowing what you know now, what you've been able to experience and accomplish over the last 9 months? This person sitting on the fence, they're, feeling the way that you felt before, they're stressed, full of anxiety, not sure what to do. Like, what would you say to them knowing what you know now?
I would say it's okay to ask for help. Find something that's going to work for you, and, make a plan and stick to it, and just keep moving forward.
Yeah, I love that. Gina, thank you so much for being here, and just a huge congratulations to you and all of your success over the last 9 months. I am just so proud of you, and it's really an honor for me. I get to be here and celebrate with you week in and week out, and it's just been so much fun to see. It's awesome to have you a part of the Roots community, and just again, huge congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, if you love planners, this is for you. But you know why planners frustrate me? Because they only really get it half right. Now, sure, they're really good and fancy about helping you manage your time, which is really important, obviously. That's what a planner's for. But where they get it wrong is money, the second most valuable resource in our lives. Most planners don't include any financial planning, things like, keeping track of paydays, bills, due dates, spending, yearly expenses, budgets, cash flow planning, debt elimination plans, and goal planning, right? None of that stuff. That's a real pain. And then what? Then you got to create your own in some silly binder, right? And who has time for all of that stuff? So instead, what happens? Nothing, right? A lot of people tend to ignore their finances even more, and things only get worse. Well, that all ends today because I am so excited to announce and release my brand new, totally awesome Debt Freedom Planner. This thing's awesome, by the way. Now, before you say, Brad, I've already got a planner. This is not an ordinary day planner. This is the Debt Freedom Planner, which is a companion tool that works with your day planner, and it's built to help you manage your money, pay off more debt, and melt away financial stress. And I believe this is the tool that a lot of people who want to take control of their finances have been waiting for. So head on over to therealdebtfreedad.com, click on the Debt Freedom Planner in the menu to get access to your planner today.
Hey, what's this I see? I thought this was a party! Let's
All right, all right. That means it's time for the celebrations of the show. And again, just want to thank Gina for joining us. And again, just another example, another great example, true life example that if you want to reach a life with less financial stress, less debt, less payments, more savings, more control, and you just want more peace of mind, Gina's story is yet another story from our Roots of Personal Finance members who are taking this stuff seriously, and they're saying no more to that kind of life. And just so proud of her and what she's been able to accomplish. So thank you so much for joining us once again. Want to kick off the celebrations here with Amanda Lee. She says, my son was invited to a friend's birthday party this week, and I was able to pay cash for the gifts from my gift envelope. She says it felt so good to have that there. And Amanda, I can totally relate. I mean, if you're a parent, you know, a lot of those birthday parties are last minute. You've already got your budget set, or maybe finances are stressful as it is. And now you got to figure out a way to fit in a birthday present. And Amanda, you got a plan. You've been working that plan. You've been kicking butt. And just another example that things are starting to go your way. Great job. Chantel Perron, remember to put aside money for school pictures this school year, which is awesome. Those always catch a lot of us off guard. So great job. And she also says next month's budget is ready to go. Chantel, congratulations to you. Antoinette Goodwin, she says, I paid off my Afterpay account and closed it. Antoinette, I love that you are changing your mindset. If you don't have the cash, I don't buy it. That is going to reduce a lot of financial stress in your life, and it's going to serve you so well. So great job, great behavior change, and getting that stuff taken care of. Sandy Jarrett, I paid off my cell phone I paid off my cell phone 10 months early. Sandy, that's a huge win. Congratulations to you, injecting more cash flow into your monthly budget. Great win. Mary Southern, going out with this month with a bang, $190 to sinking funds, $996.27 paid off in debt. And check this out, guys. She says that officially puts me under the 28,000 mark. Another goal that she had for this year. She is done with it. And she has also paid off credit card number 4. Mary, over these years, 2.5 years, going on her 3rd year coming up in January, still just crushing it. Another example that normal everyday people can win and change their personal finance life. What a great win, Mary. Congratulations to you. So proud. And to finish it up here today with a big, gigantic win, Tanya Olson, $15,000 paid off on a credit card. She says, man, that feels great. I bet it does, Tanya. Congratulations to you. Huge win. And congratulations to all of our listeners who are really doing the hard work and getting themselves out of debt. I know it's hard. I know it's not easy. But I can tell you what, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it one day. So keep up the great work. And if you're just getting started with our podcast, or maybe you've been listening for some time and you're interested in how you can get started on the road to financial freedom, visit our website at balancesense.com and sign up for my free Life Without Payments workshop, where I'm actually going to show you the first steps that have helped tens of thousands of people just like you and just like Gina, who we had on our podcast today, kick financial stress and worry for good. And thanks for hanging out with us here today. We love your feedback, and it also helps us grow our podcast. So please leave us an honest review. We read every single one of those. And as you guys know, the Debt Free Dad podcast is here to help you live a happier and stress-free financial life. So if you know someone who could benefit from our show, please give us a share. We appreciate you. And hey, we will see you guys on an upcoming episode. Take care and have a great week.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us here today. We love your feedback, and it also helps us grow our YouTube show. So please give us a like or leave us some honest feedback on this video. And if you want the latest from the show, obviously be sure to hit that notification bell and subscribe to our channel. And for the latest resources, or if you want more information on how to kick debt and financial stress, please be sure to check out the links in this video or head over to therealdebtfreedad.com. We'll see you guys on an upcoming show. Take care.